With the half anniversary already over, some of the more meta-defining umas coming out rather soon, and Scorpio Cup approaching ever so closer, you decided to prepare. You try and make new parents. You have your firm conditions ready, sunny days ready, you have all your parents decked out and ready to go. But before you go make your aces, you decided to check what's the track for the upcoming championship meeting. Surely it can't be that different from the ones that came before it, right? Before we start with the guide, there's one thing that needs to be said. No matter the amount of time spent on doing your runs, no matter if you have a decent-ish uma, no matter if you have an uma that only 0.1% of the player base will be able to make, no matter the trainer, no matter the uma, nothing will guarantee the victory. You can only decrease the chances of losing. The chances will be minimal, but they will never be at 0%. Be prepared to get wit checked, late start, rushed, debuffed, blocked. Be prepared to not proc any skills or whatnot. It will happen to you either often, or the game will decide that it'll be funny to give you hope during round 1 and 2, only to hit you with every single negative status, screwing you over only in that particular race. A racetrack for this championship meeting is set on Tokyo turf 2000 meters, medium, on soft terrain and rainy weather left-handed racetrack. This is the first time players on the global version of the game have been introduced to both rainy and soft track conditions, with the latter appearing rather soon in CM9. So what does this mean exactly for the player? It basically means that your power stat will decrease by 50, and your health consumption will decrease by an additional 2% per second. And from this point onwards, I'll be referring to championship meeting as CM. Let's state one thing right away, as people may be wondering. There is no stat threshold for this track, so you don't have to worry about hitting 600 or 900 plus of XNAT for the bonus speed multiplier. This track has 2 uphills and 1 downhill. The first uphill starts at the 725 meter mark, while the second uphill starts at the 1550 meter mark. So skills like Highlander can be proc at any of these 2 uphills. Do be mindful of that. There are 3 corners. Corner 2 starts at the 200 meter mark, while corners 3 and 4 each start at respectively the 950 meter and the 1333 meter marks. The fact that corner 4 extends into the final leg allows you to proc uniques that activate on the last corner of the track, so some of the uniques will activate right as you enter final leg, or pretty much right away. Seiyun Sky's unique is a perfect example. Her unique, Angling and Scheming, activates on any corner during final leg if you're in first. In this instance, if your uma is in first place, it will proc immediately, so you're not wasting any time. So you get that acceleration right away. Like I have mentioned earlier, there are also uniques that proc pretty much right as you enter the final leg, such as Taiki Shuttle's unique. Her unique gives the same acceleration as Angling and Scheming, lasts just as long and has similar conditions to activate. It also activates on the second half of the final corner, while it also has to be on any corner. Side note, why are there 2 corner checks if final corner later half check works better than any corner check? Anyway, she needs to be in either 3rd or 4th place. As you can see, shooting for victory activates just a little bit after you enter the final corner, so just like angling, you're not wasting time, you're shooting ahead. Enough about the track for now though. I don't think there's much to talk about when it comes to the parent umas for this CM that hasn't been said in the past CMs, so we'll keep this part brief. Notable parents are as follows. Seiyun Sky, Bakshin or Summer Maruzensky for France. Taiki Shuttle for Pace Chasers. Majiro McQueen is a solid option for both France and Pace Chasers. Majiro Ryan for Late Surgers. And here are the parents that also work but shouldn't be the priority. Narita Brian for Pace Chasers and Lates. Symbolai Rudolph for anyone that's not a front runner. If you don't care about unique skills though, there's a solid option when it comes to inheritance, and that is Mayano Top Gun, both original and wedding version. She has a secret event that's really easy to do, but also really valuable. You just need to win a G1 race in every position, so 1 win for front, pace, late, and end. The event itself gives +1 hint to final push, head on, slick surge, and straightaway spurt. You can use her for a parent that you can use for any CM just because of this event. Definitely something that's worth noting. As for why Majiro Dober has not been listed here, there's no time to make a good Dober parent for this CM because she releases right as it starts on December 28th. One important thing to note is the fact that this guide assumes you have either 3LB or MLB Kita-san Black, especially since her rerun banner released one day after Libra Cup ended. The minimum stat requirements are as follows. As you can see, the stats are basically the same for every style. Stamina requirement is the same across the board, but if you encounter debuffers and you don't have any recovery skills and you either get debuffed once, you pretty much lost the race. To take account for them, you can either go for 2 to 3 white recoveries or 1 gold recovery skill. Now for the stats that are recommended for this CM, this also assumes you go for the same amount of recovery skill as the minimum stat requirement. Before we begin the next part where we talk about what umas are recommended, there's one thing that needs to be said. Oshi over meta. If one of your favorites turn out to be good in certain CMs, you got lucky, but overall if you hate chasing meta, there's nothing stopping you from using your favorites instead and is overall healthier not only for your account in terms of pulls, but also healthier in terms of your mentality. Especially during this CM, where basically everyone can perform really well. Undoubtedly, the strongest frontrunner this CM will be Silent Suzuka with Runaway skill, which for those who don't know, can be obtained by winning 6 or more of any listed types of race in a row, not breaking the streak and also winning Tenno Sho Autumn without breaking it. It might sound difficult, but it's actually pretty easy to do. Important thing to note, Runaway skill is treated as a green skill, so it will take part in activating groundwork. So, what makes Runaway Suzuka good compared to previous CM6? If you make a good Runaway Suzuka, at worst you will prevent other frontrunners from activating angling and scheming and letting your other ace Slingshot pass your Suzuka, and at best, she will stay in front for the entire race, not being able to be overtaken throughout the entire race. Now, you might be wondering if Suzuka is like Gold Chip or Mayano Top Gun during Libra Cup, where they proc no stopping me, straightaway spurt, Uma stand, and they will win by default, but that's not the case here. She's strong, but not strong enough to be the Grim Reaper of CM7. She can still be beaten with a semi-decently built Uma. As you can see, an Oguri that reaches minimum stat lines is able to beat decently built Runaway Suzuka. With Suzuka in the picture, other fronts such as Summer Marizensky and Saiyan Sky will have a harder time getting ahead, but that doesn't mean they're weak by any means. In fact, not everyone will have or use Suzuka, so other fronts are still very strong, and if there's more than 2 Runaway Suzukas, the chances are they're gonna die by the time you reach the final leg of the race, so don't worry, other fronts aren't dead. One of the strongest and most F2P friendly options for this CM is without doubt Oguri Cap. One of her upsides is her stat bonuses, 20% in speed and 10% in power, so you can get required stats pretty easily. She also has a built-in access to Gourmand. She always has been a solid option for F2P players, and it's the same case here. Another option that you can consider running is Taiki Shuttle. As we discussed in the racetrack part of the video, her unique is quite strong here. However, she's not as easy to make as Oguri. Why? First of all, she has E in medium aptitude. Luckily, you don't need to rely on inspiration luck to get her medium aptitude to A. You just need 10-star medium sparks in total. Her second issue is the fact that she mainly has access to mile-related skill, so you need parents with medium-related skills and decent luck when it comes to actually getting them. Overall, she's strong for this CM, but you'll have to try a bit more when trying to make her into a CM7 ace. Other notable options are Original Majiro McQueen, Daiwa Scarlet, both original and Summer Marizensky. The list could very much go on, but I don't think we have much time to list and explain every Uma in detail. Just like how Oguri Cap is strong on pace, she's also strong on late surger precision. Granted, you won't be able to utilize Gourmand, but if you're using Rice Shower support, you will be able to get Swinging Maestro on your 3rd event chain. Pretty much everything I said about Pace Oguri applies here as well. Another good option is Majiro Orion. If you manage to get 6th place right as you enter the final leg of the race, you'll gain acceleration right as you enter it and you'll have somewhat of an easy time winning. However, her unique requires her to be in 6th place exactly, so it's a high risk, high reward Uma. It's a similar case for Majiro Dober that is going to release on the same day CM7 starts. A strong acceleration skill that has 2 different activation conditions where they share few things in common. Dober needs to be in either 5th or 6th place and cannot be rushed. For reasons that I'll briefly touch it up in a bit, if your main end closers like Taishan or Goldship, you should put them in late. I'ma be real, putting your Umas as end closers is not recommended, since there's no good XLs for ends this CM. Straightaway Spurt, for instance, is a bad skill for this track because it activates in the middle of the final leg, so all that acceleration is just gonna be wasted. So the recommended thing to do is just to make end closers as late surgers. What you can make for ends that isn't gonna make your life harder, or if you hate your opponents, are debuffers. I'll keep this one short since the video is pretty lengthy at this point. Nice Nature, Mystifying Murmur, and All-Seeing Eyes. Halloween Super Krieg, Wedding Mayano Top Gun, Mystifying Murmur. Zimbalai Rudolph, Grass Wonder, Agnes Tachyon, and Dominator. Murmur and Dominator hits all enemy Umas ahead of you no matter what, and All-Seeing Eyes will hit Umas that are in your debuffer's field of view, so late surgers will be affected by a lot. Put all debuffers in end positions besides Halloween Creek because of her G aptitude on the end. Put her on late instead. Now you know what stats to aim for, you know what Umas to go for, but what about skills? Universally good skills are any position corner skills like front runner corners, late surger corners, etc. Medium corners, Professor of Curvature, Swinging Maestro, recovery skill you can get from both Super Creek or Rice Shower supports. It's on, the golden version of Ramp Up. If you can't afford it, then just go for Ramp Up. And Tail Held High. For front runners, as per usual, groundwork plus 3 green skills or 2 greens and take the lead is mandatory. Plus, if you're using someone that's not Saiyan, add angling and scheming to the list. Escape artist or fast pace depending on who you're running. Lastly, final push, and if you're using Suzuka's support or Suzuka herself, go for unrestrained. As for the other positions, you have skills like Uma Stand, Ramp Up, Slipstream, and Playtime's Over. They all can be used on either pace, late, or end, although as we discussed earlier, ends aren't the best choice for this CM. Both pace and late have a skill unique to their respective positions. Head on and slick surge, so pick them up as well. I feel like I forgot something. Oh, right. Christmas Augury Cap is a horse with 15% bonus stat growth in both speed and stamina, with a unique skill that pretty much gives everything. Bonus target speed, acceleration, and recovery when you activate 3 recovery skill and you're in the second half of the race. It was the Uma back when she released on JB server, and she'll without a doubt be one of the stronger options, but after the update on November 11th, which introduced a lot of balance changes that weren't originally here at this point in time, so it's unclear if her performance will be as dominant as on JP or if she'll feel more balanced. As for Biwa, she has 12% bonus stat growth in stamina and power, as well as 6% in wit. Her unique skill activates during mid-race, where she's in either 2nd, 3rd, or 4th place, has never been in race position worse than top 50% after the first 5 seconds. In the case of CM, it means that you can never be worse than the 4th, and when racing in its second half. It will take a fair share amount of effort to make her work, but if you like her, there's nothing stopping you from making her into an ace. Like I mentioned earlier, Oshi over meta. There are 2 team comps you're most likely to encounter. 3 aces, or 2 aces and 1 debuffer. Those 2 are pretty self-explanatory. You either run 3 Umas that are capable of winning a race, or you run 2 of those, while a debuffer makes it easier for them to win. Expect to see quite a bit of evil natures in your lobbies, whether it's evil nature made back in, I don't know, CM1, CM3, or made during current times. Her having debuffs, mentioned earlier, makes her a variable that you might have to account for, especially during those conditions. Regarding the former team comp, you have a lot of room to work with when it comes to who you could choose. You can go for a triple front, combination of lates and pace or front pace late, throw whatever at the wall and it'll probably stick. If you want to skip this CM, however, you can just use Taurus Cup Umas and not give a damn about it. So let's do a quick recap in case you didn't get everything or you decided to skip to the summary of the entire guide because you didn't want to hear me yap. Track is 2000 meters left-handed soft rainy, minus 50 power and additional 2% HP reduction per second. There is no stat threshold. There is 2 uphills and 1 downhill. Try to aim for max speed stat and 900 in both stamina and power at minimum with as much wit as possible when making fonts and pace chasers. Runaway Suzuka, viable as both blocker and as an actual ace. And virtually every Uma will be viable. End closers are gonna have a hard time though. And that should cover basically everything that the trainers should know about the CM and what to expect from it. Hopefully, this can give you an advantage for CM7 and what you should be aiming for in your runs. It's got a few hurdles with the rain and soft turf, but it's a unique build once the stats click. And so, if you found this guide helpful, feel free to stick around for more umamusume and other guide content. I'm Ru, and I'll see you next time.